I'll write an engaging 800-word story for Part 1, the exchange program in simple, basic English with third-person style. I'll use simple Korean names and make it interesting without headings. The spaceship docked with a soft hiss. Han gripped his small bag tightly as the airlock door slid open. This was it, his first step into the Galactic Academy of Sciences. Han was the first human ever accepted to study at the famous school. Earth had only recently been discovered by the galactic community, and many aliens were shocked to learn about Han's home planet. They called Earth a death world, a planet so dangerous that most aliens would die there within minutes. The air in the station felt thin to Han. The lights were dimmer than he was used to, and the gravity pulled slightly less than Earth's. Still, it was much better than what the other students faced. The Academy had adjusted the environment specially for him, since normal station conditions would be too harsh for a human. A tall blue alien with 4 arms approached Han. "Welcome to Proxima 7 Station. I am Professor Lee, your advisor." The professor spoke through a translator device pinned to his upper left shoulder. "Follow me to meet your roommate." They walked through curved hallways filled with strange plants and glowing signs in 20 different languages. Han noticed other students watching him with wide eyes or extra sets of eyes in some cases. Some moved away quickly when he passed. "They are afraid?" Han asked. Professor Lee nodded. "Many have never seen a Deathworlder before. The stories about humans are concerning to them." They reached a door marked with symbols Han couldn't read. It slid open to reveal a small living space, with 2 beds, though one looked more like a heated rock platform. A creature that reminded Han of a blue crab stood up from a desk. It had 6 legs, 2 large claws, and 4 smaller arms near its face. Its shell gleamed under the lights. "This is Taro, your roommate," Professor Lee said. "Taro, this is Han, the human exchange student." Taro's eye stalks wiggled nervously. "Greetings, Deathworlder," Taro said through his own translator. "I have prepared the room according to safety protocols." Han noticed a line of yellow tape dividing the room. All of Taro's belongings were pushed to one side. "Why is the room split?" Han asked. "For safety," Taro clicked his claws. "Humans carry dangerous bacteria. Your skin produces acids, you breathe oxygen, pure oxygen, a toxic gas to many species." Han smiled, trying to look friendly. "I promise I'm not dangerous." "All Deathworlders say that," Taro replied, backing away slightly. Professor Lee made a sound like a sigh. "You will both adjust. Classes begin tomorrow. First will be basic galactic sciences, followed by species biology, and then physical adaptation studies." After Professor Lee left, Han unpacked his few belongings. His side of the room felt empty compared to Taro's collection of colorful shells and strange devices. "Is it true?" Taro asked suddenly, his voice quieter, "that humans can survive radiation that would kill most species?" Han shrugged. "I don't know. I've never been tested." "And you eat plants and animals? And can heal from broken bones?" "Yes, that's normal for us," Han said. He was starting to realize how different he really was from his classmates. A bell sound echoed through the station. Taro's eye stalks perked up. "Dinner time. The cafeteria has separate sections for different environmental needs." The cafeteria was huge, with 20 different serving areas. Some students ate gases from special tanks, others soaked in liquid nutrients. Han found the section marked with Earth's symbol and received a tray of food that looked almost normal, though the colors were slightly off. He sat alone at first, until a small green alien with large eyes approached. "May I join you? I'm Sue from Praxis 4. "Please do," Han said, grateful for the company. Sue stared at Han's food. "Is it true you eat that solid material 3 times daily? How exhausting." More. Students gradually joined their table, all curious about the human. Han answered their questions as best he could, surprised at how many basic human traits seemed amazing to them. As they talked, Han noticed a tall, official-looking alien posting something on the announcement board. Students gathered around, making sounds of worry. "What's happening?" Han asked Sue. "They're announcing the adaptation test," Sue explained. It's the most difficult exam at the academy. It tests how different species handle various environments. Han read the notice. All first-year students will participate in the physical adaptation test next week. Prepare according to your species guidelines. Sue looked at Han with her large eyes. No human has ever taken the test before. The professors don't even know what to expect. Han felt a mix of worry and pride. He was representing all of humanity. Here. Whatever this test was, he would need to be ready to show what humans could do, what Deathworlders were capable of surviving. The second morning at the Galactic Academy, Han woke up early to the sound of Taro clicking his claws nervously. The blue crab-like alien was pacing on his side of the yellow tape line. Is something wrong? Han asked, sitting up in bed. Taro's eye stalks twitched. The adaptation test. Everyone is talking about it. They say it will be the hardest version ever this year. Han got dressed in his academy uniform, a simple gray jumpsuit with Earth symbol on the shoulder. How bad can it be? Very bad for some species, Taro said. Last year, 3 students from Water Worlds failed so badly they had to leave the academy. Their bodies couldn't handle the stress. In the hallway, Han noticed other students staring and whispering as he passed. He caught fragments of conversations in various languages, his translator picking up words like dangerous, Deathworlder, and unpredictable. The first class was Basic Galactic Sciences. Han sat alone until a tall, elegant alien with silver skin slid into the seat beside him. I'm Mina, she said. Her voice sounded like gentle bells. Don't mind the others. They're just scared of what they don't understand. Why is everyone so afraid of humans? Han asked. Mina's silvery face rippled, showing an expression Han couldn't read. Most species in the galaxy evolved on gentle worlds. Stable temperatures, low radiation, few predators, mild weather. Your Earth is extreme. The gravity alone would crush many of us. The teacher, Professor Dax, began the lesson on star classifications. Han tried to focus, but he felt eyes on him constantly. When class ended, he gathered his digital tablet and headed for the door. Wait, called a voice. A small, furry alien with large ears approached. Is it true humans can regrow damaged body parts? Before Han could answer, more questions came from other students. Can you really drink water with minerals in it? Is it true humans sleep lying down, completely helpless? Do you really have bacteria living inside your body? Han tried to answer politely, but the crowd grew larger. The questions became more personal, more invasive. He felt like a zoo exhibit. Enough. Mina stepped between Han and the crowd. He's a student, not a research specimen. The crowd slowly dispersed, muttering. Mina led Han toward the cafeteria. Thank you, Han said. Don't thank me yet, Mina replied. The adaptation test is coming, and the professors don't know what to expect from you. That's why everyone is so curious. In the cafeteria, Han got his food and joined Mina at a small table. She didn't eat solid food, but instead absorbed nutrients through her skin from a glowing mist. What exactly is this test? Han asked. It measures how different species handle various environments, Mina explained. Temperature changes, pressure changes, radiation, gravity shifts. It helps the Academy understand species limits. A group of tall four-armed aliens at the next table kept glancing at Han. One of them, with blue skin and sharp teeth, finally approached. So you're the Deathworlder, he said. His translator made his voice sound cold. Don't get too comfortable here. Some of us think it's a mistake to let your kind join the Academy. Mina stood up. Back off, Juno. He has as much right to be here as anyone. Juno snorted. We'll see after the test. I hear they're making special modifications just for the human. They're worried he might actually break the testing equipment. After Juno left, Han looked at Mina questioningly. Some species think they're superior, she explained. Ignore him. Later that day, Han attended species biology class where they studied how different aliens adapted to their home environments. The professor used Earth as an example of an extreme world and described humans as having remarkable but concerning adaptations. After classes ended, Han found Taro in their room watching a holographic display. What's that? Han asked. Past adaptation tests. Taro clicked nervously. I'm studying how others handled it. Han watched footage of students in sealed chambers. Some were exposed to heat, others to cold. Some chambers filled with strange gases or liquids. In one, the gravity increased until a rock-like alien couldn't move. This seems dangerous, Han said. It's carefully controlled, Taro replied. Usually, Taro's eye stalks drooped. Sometimes there are accidents. The systems are complex. Last year, a containment field failed during a heat test. 3 students suffered burns. That night, Han couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, thinking about the test and all the whispers. He was representing all of humanity here. If he failed, Earth might not get another chance at the Academy. The next morning, a message appeared on Han's tablet. It was from Professor Lee. Report to Lab 7 for adaptation test preparation. Human-specific protocols have been implemented. Han showed the message to Mina when he saw her in the hallway. Her silver skin rippled with concern. That's strange. The test isn't scheduled until next week. Should I be worried? Han asked. Mina placed a cool, metallic hand on his shoulder. Just be careful. No one knows what a human can really survive, not even you. Lab 7 was much larger than Han expected. The room stretched out like a giant dome with 20 separate testing stations arranged in a circle. Each station looked different, some filled with water, others with strange gases, some completely sealed with thick walls. In the center of the room stood Professor Dax, surrounded by a team of technicians checking equipment. Students from all years gathered in the viewing area behind safety glass. Han spotted Mina watching with concern in her silver eyes. Welcome to the adaptation test, Professor Dax announced as the first-year students lined up. Today we will measure your physiological responses to various environmental stressors. This data helps us understand your species' limitations and capabilities. Han noticed that each station had a different alien symbol above it. He found the Earth symbol next to a plain-looking chamber with metal walls. Each test is calibrated specifically for your species, Professor Dax continued. What might be fatal for one student would be merely uncomfortable for another. Safety protocols are in place. Taro stood nearby, his blue shell trembling slightly. My species hates heat, he whispered to Han. I hope they don't make it too hot. Students were called one by one to their stations. Han watched as Taro entered his chamber, which began filling with a warm mist. The crab-like alien moved uncomfortably, but completed various tasks shown on a screen inside. When Juno, the blue-skinned alien who had been rude earlier, entered his station, the gravity slowly increased. He struggled but managed to lift weighted objects as required. Han from Earth, Professor Dax finally called. Report to Station 16. As Han walked to his testing chamber, he noticed several professors and technicians gathering closer. One held a tablet and was rapidly scrolling through data. Another whispered to Professor Dax, who frowned and shook his head. Is something wrong? Han asked as he reached his station. No technical issues, Professor Dax said, but we have limited data on human physiology. We've had to make educated guesses about your limits. Han stepped into his chamber. It was a simple room with metal walls, a single chair, and a screen showing instructions. The door sealed behind him with a hiss. Your test will begin with temperature variation, a computerized voice announced. Please remain seated. The chamber grew colder. Han's breath became visible. The screen showed his body temperature dropping slightly, but still within normal human range. He completed simple tasks, solving puzzles, responding to flashing lights. Next came heat. The temperature rose steadily. Han began to sweat but remained focused on the tasks. The screen displayed his body's cooling response with apparent fascination. Pressure differential test, the computer announced. The air pressure in the room began to change. Han's ears popped. He swallowed to equalize the pressure as he'd learned to do on airplane flights on Earth. Outside the chamber, Han could see technicians pointing at their monitors with surprise. Professor Dax was studying readings intently. The test continued with varying oxygen levels, then exposure to mild radiation. Each time, Han completed the required tasks without major difficulty. The test seemed challenging but not impossible. Then Han noticed something strange. A red light began flashing on the control panel outside his chamber. Professor Dax rushed over, examining something with alarm. Other technicians joined him. Inside Han's chamber, the computer announced, "Final test, combined stressors." Suddenly, multiple systems activated at once. The temperature dropped rapidly while the pressure increased. The oxygen level decreased and a mild radiation warning appeared on the screen. Han struggled to breathe. His fingers felt numb from cold. The tasks on the screen became harder to focus on. Through the window, he could see Professor Dax frantically, working at the control panel. Something was wrong. System malfunction, the computer voice said calmly. Safety protocols offline. Outside, students began pointing at other testing stations. Han turned to see that Taro's chamber was filling with what looked like steam, much hotter than it should be. In another station, a small amphibious alien was gasping as its water tank drained unexpectedly. Multiple stations were malfunctioning at once. The temperature in Han's chamber dropped further. Ice crystals formed on the walls. The radiation level indicator turned from yellow to orange. Emergency shutdown failure, the computer announced, still in its calm voice. Initiating containment procedures. Metal shields began to close around each station, cutting off the view of the outside. Han heard alarms blaring beyond his chamber. Before the shields fully closed, he saw panic in the observation area. The last thing Han saw was Mina pressing against the safety glass, her silver face showing clear fear, and Professor Dax shouting orders that Han couldn't hear as his chamber sealed completely. Inside the freezing, high-pressure, low-oxygen chamber, Han realized the test had become much more than anyone had planned. Now, it was about survival. The emergency lights flashed red inside Han's sealed chamber. The temperature had dropped to -20 degrees Celsius. His breath formed ice crystals in the air. The pressure crushed against his chest, making each breath difficult. Warning symbols flashed on the screen, showing that multiple systems had failed. Despite the dangerous conditions, Han found he could still move. It was painful and difficult, but not impossible. On Earth, he had once gone winter camping in the mountains. This felt worse, but the same principles applied. Keep moving. Don't stop, Han examined the sealed door. No way to open it from inside. The control panel was dead. Through a small observation window, he could see other chambers also sealed, with emergency lights flashing. In the chamber next to his, he spotted Taro. The crab-like alien was curled into a tight ball on the floor. Steam filled his chamber, lethal heat for his species. Taro wasn't moving. Han needed to get out, not just for himself but for the others. He looked around for anything useful. The metal chair was bolted to the floor. The screen had gone blank. Nothing seemed helpful until Han noticed a maintenance panel near the floor. He knelt down, his fingers numb from cold. The panel was secured with screws. Han used the edge of his Academy ID card to turn them. His Earth-evolved muscles, adapted to higher gravity, gave him strength that surprised even him. The panel came loose, revealing a tangle of wires and tubes. Han recognized some components from basic engineering classes on Earth. He traced the main power line and found where it connected to the door's locking mechanism. With a deep breath, Han pulled the wire free. Sparks flew. The door's lock clicked. Using all his strength, Han pushed against the freezing metal. The door opened just enough for him to squeeze through. The lab was in chaos. Alarms blared. Emergency lights cast everything in red. Most of the staff had evacuated, but Professor Dax remained at the main control panel, desperately trying to override the malfunctions. Han! Professor Dax looked shocked. How did you escape? The temperature in your chamber was fatal for most species. No time, Han gasped. Others are trapped. Han ran to Taro's chamber. Through the window, he could see his roommate still motionless in the steam. The external controls were locked. Han looked for another maintenance panel like the one in his chamber. Finding it, he quickly disconnected the power. The door remained sealed. The heat inside was too intense for the alien engineers to approach, but Han realized he could withstand it briefly. Humans evolved with fire, with cooking, with hot summers. Han found a metal tool on a nearby workbench and smashed it against the door's hinges. Once, twice, 3 times. The door buckled. Steam poured out. Han rushed in, grabbed Taro's limp form, and carried him to safety. "Medical team," Han shouted. As technicians rushed to help Taro, Han turned to the next chamber. Inside, a small amphibious alien was gasping in a nearly dry tank. Again, Han forced the door open and carried the alien to safety. One by one, Han broke into the malfunctioning chambers. He endured heat that blistered his skin, cold that numbed his limbs, radiation that made warning sensors scream, and toxic gases that stung his eyes and lungs. Each time he rescued another student. From the observation area, other students watched in amazement. Mina pressed against the glass, her silver skin reflecting the emergency lights. "Impossible," one professor whispered, staring at readings on a tablet. "He's enduring conditions that would kill any known species." Han's academy uniform was torn and burned. His hands were bloody from breaking through sharp metal edges. His lungs burned from toxic gases. Yet he continued until all 16 trapped students were rescued. Finally, the emergency systems came back online. The malfunctioning stations shut down properly. Medical teams rushed in to treat the injured students. Han collapsed onto a bench, exhausted. Professor Dax approached slowly, staring at him with new eyes. "You survived temperatures from -30 to +60 degrees Celsius," Professor Dax said quietly. "Radiation levels that would kill most species, toxic gases, pressure changes, all at once." Han shrugged. "Earth has all those things in different places. Humans adapt." "But not all at once," Professor Dax insisted. "And yet you not only survived, you functioned well enough to rescue others." The medical team examined Han, looking increasingly confused. "By their readings, his cells are already repairing radiation damage," one medic reported. "His skin is healing from burns before our eyes." Mina finally reached Han's side. "The system targeted specific vulnerabilities for each species," she explained, "but it couldn't find a single condition that would stop you completely." Professor Dax was reviewing data on his tablet. "The system malfunctioned because it tried to find your breaking point and couldn't. It kept increasing the severity until it overloaded." From across the room, Han saw Juno, the blue-skinned alien who had been rude earlier. Juno stared at Han, with an expression that had changed from contempt to something like respect. As the chaos calmed, Han noticed everyone watching him. Students, professors, technicians. Their fear had been replaced by wonder. "This is why Earth is called a death world," Professor Dax said to the room. "Not because humans are dangerous, but because they evolved to survive conditions that would kill most of us. Today, that made Han not a monster but a hero." Taro, now conscious and being treated by medics, raised a claw weakly toward Han. "Roommate?" he clicked, the translator making his voice sound grateful. "Perhaps I will remove the yellow tape from our room." 3 days after the incident at Lab 7, the entire academy gathered in the main auditorium. The room was designed to accommodate all species, with sections for water breathers, methane breathers, and every other environmental need. Han sat in the Earth section, still bandaged but healing quickly. The academy director, a tall crystalline being named Director, Kim, stood at the center podium. Her voice resonated through translation devices across the room. "The events in Lab 7 have changed our understanding of interspecies capabilities," she began. 16 students would have died if not for the actions of Han from Earth. The screens around the auditorium displayed footage from the test chambers. Han watched himself breaking through doors, carrying injured aliens to safety, enduring conditions that should have killed him. The footage had been shared across the galactic network, viewed by billions. "For centuries, we have used the term Deathworlder as a warning," Director Kim continued. "Today, we understand it differently. The harsh conditions of Earth created a species with remarkable adaptability." Han felt uncomfortable with all the attention. Next to him sat Taro, who had fully recovered. The crab-like alien's shell gleamed under the lights. You are not afraid of me anymore? Han asked quietly. Taro clicked his claws. Still a little afraid, but now I understand why. Your strength comes from your world. It made you strong, so you could survive there. After the ceremony, Professor Dax approached Han with a tablet. The Science Council has reviewed our findings from the incident. They want to establish a new research division focused on human physiology. They want you to lead it. Han stared at the proposal. Me? I'm just a first-year student. You are the only human at the academy, Professor Dax said, and you have demonstrated abilities we never thought possible. The next week, Han was given a special laboratory in the science wing. Students from all years came to volunteer as research assistants. Among them was Juno, the blue-skinned alien who had once been so hostile. Why do you want to help? Han asked him. Juno looked uncomfortable. My homeworld faces environmental challenges, rising temperatures, radiation from a nearby star. Your adaptability might help us develop solutions. Han began conducting tests to document human capabilities. He recorded how quickly he healed from cuts, how his body regulated temperature, how his immune system fought off alien bacteria. Mina helped organize the findings. Look at this, she said one day, pointing to a screen showing Han's cellular structure. Your cells can repair radiation damage much faster than any known species. News of the research spread. Other academies sent scientists to observe. Government officials from various worlds came to meet the human who had survived the impossible. One day, a ship arrived from Earth. Han was called to the docking bay to meet the new arrivals. 5 humans stepped onto the station, 3 women, and 2 men. The Galactic Council has approved more human students, Director Kim announced. Earth is now recognized as a valuable member of the galactic community. Jun, one of the new human students, shook Han's hand. You've changed everything, she said. Earth was isolated before. Now every world wants our help. In the months that followed, humans were recruited for emergency response teams across the galaxy. Their ability to endure extreme conditions made them perfect for disaster relief. When a mining colony suffered radiation leaks, humans were the first responders. When a space station lost environmental controls, humans kept systems running while others evacuated. Han's research center expanded. He named it the Adaptation Research Center, dedicated to using Earth's harsh legacy to help other species. They developed protective suits based on human skin, medicines based on human immune responses, and training programs to help other species build resilience. 1 year after the incident, Han stood in front of a new class of students, humans and aliens together. The classroom had no separate sections, no yellow warning tape. We once feared what was different, Han told them. We called Earth a death world because we didn't understand. Now we know that challenges create strength. Hardship creates adaptation. Together we are stronger than we are apart. Taro, now Han's research partner rather than just his roommate, clicked his claws in agreement. From Deathworld, he said, comes life. Outside the classroom window, Earth's flag flew alongside those of all member worlds. No longer a symbol of fear, but of resilience, a legacy of strength born from hardship, now shared with the stars.